10, 9, ignition sequence start. 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, so here we have the modern T-Jet or Thunderjet 500, however you would like to look at it. It's the same thing. Here we have the extraction chassis. Here we have an Aurora, a domestically made, one of 2 domestically made products on this list today. Here, of course, we have the Viper. And here we have AFX. All right, so we'll get the shells off the chassis. We'll flip them all over so we can have a look at how each company has set up their version of the shoe. All right, so what we're gonna do is we'll flip them over, we'll take the shells off, we'll have a look at the chassis, we'll see what kind of shoes these companies have chosen to go with and how they have them set up. We'll have a quick look at how they are set up, and then I'll show you how to make a jig so that you can get your shoes running flat and true as close to the track as you possibly can. And when it comes to electricity, it always follows the path of least resistance. So the more metal you have on metal, the better electrical transfer you'll have for your slot cars. All right, let's get into it. All right, so here we are having a look at the bottom now, and we'll have a look at how the shoe is set up on each one of these cars. We'll start with the T-Jet. All right, so I've taken one of the shoes off, and of course there's the spring there as well. All right. So what they've decided to do with this one, and it's actually a pretty good idea, is they put a little nipple here. And what this nipple does, obviously, it allows you to put the spring on there so you can hook the shoe underneath the plate and then put it lie down. And then, of course, hook it onto this point right here, okay? Really, instead of them putting a bowl like on the extractions, they've opted to just do this little nipple thing. And what happens is, obviously, you just put the spring there, and then you hook the shoe under it. That's how the T-Jets decided to do their shoes. Now, if you look, you could see the spring right there, right inside. Sits right there. All right. On T-Jets, you'll very rarely find that the front wheels won't touch the ground, because that's a different issue, and I don't believe it happens much with this issue, unless, of course, you've missed the nipple to put the spring on. You can see it still has some spring there, so this would allow the tires to touch the ground. All right. So that's what the Thunderjet looks like, or the T-Jet. All right, so here we have the modern extraction from Auto World. And there's various problems with the shoes on this one. First off, they're extremely thin. They're like paper. Second off, this piece here, if you look at it, okay, look at it move around. This is ridiculous. See that? Oh my gosh. And the cup that the spring goes in is way too big. Way too big. The problem is, and we'll have a look here on this side. You can see the spring in there, okay? What happens is that spring sometimes, because of how loose this shoe is, the spring sometimes rides up in the cup and it'll stop the shoe from springing properly. In which case, you'll be driving along and your front tire will not touch the ground. So there's a few ways to deal with that problem, if that is the problem. The first one is, you give the shoe a wiggle and make sure this plate here is squared up with the edge. All right, it shouldn't be crooked. So I'd say about 90% of the time your tires aren't touching the track. That's the reason. Because the spring has went and rode up the side of the cup and isn't being compressed properly. See how this one's sitting nice? It has spring to it. Now, if the spring comes out of that cup a little bit and out of the nipple on the shoe, then it will get jammed and it'll stop it from compressing. Okay, so obviously we have the AFX Aurora car here. This is a domestically made product. This was made in the United States. You can see how they have the shoes set up. The springs are much different in being that the cup holes are smaller. All right, so the first thing I want to do quickly is show you the difference in the shoes, okay? So this is an Aurora shoe right here. And this is an Auto World shoe. Huh. Has engineering gotten so sloppy that they had to make the shoe that much bigger? It's almost twice as wide. Anyways. So the Aurora, we'll put that down quickly. Right? The Aurora has a much deeper pocket here, which hold the spring better. Not to mention, this is not loose, right? It's not shaking around everywhere. It's tight. And you can see it's where it should be. But this is what happens right here when you have quality control. And they're doing their job. Because obviously the AFX Aurora chassis are tops. When it comes to modern extraction style chassis anyways. All right. Here we have the Viper. And they've got their shoe set up much like AFX does. Where there's a post there. These shoes hook underneath it. And the way they have the spring configured on these cars is absolutely amazing. All right, so you can see the spring is long and it sticks out of the hole a little bit. Makes it easy. You don't have to chase it around the room. They're a little bit longer than these tiny little things, so they don't disappear so easily when they take off your bench. And to put the shoe on, it's really simple. I mean, like I said, you hook it underneath that bar at the back there. And because this is the 1.7, the shoes are longer on these ones. The 1.5s, the shoes are just a tad shorter. Okay, so just like that. And it's in. And of course, absolutely fantastic. Because they're so long, they actually create a lot of spring, but it makes sure that the chassis stays firm and you get great power transfer. All right. With the AFX Racemaster car, you will never have the problem with the shoe pushing downwards too hard and your front wheels being off the ground. Just because of the way they have it set up. Now, if that is happening, the chances are you've bent the spring over and it's not sitting in that fantastic little cup they've provided, the hole that you drop it into. Something's wrong if an AFX shoe is not sitting correctly. All right, so that pretty much covers a look at everything that can go wrong with your shoes. I mean, there are lots of problems, but today we're mainly looking at the one where your front wheels don't touch the ground. So in looking at a few of these, and of course, I don't have a 4-gear in here, but a 4-gear is just an extraction with one more gear. So in your mind, just add one more gear. All right, it's still the same thing. We'll have a quick look. Exactly the same setup as the extraction. It's just a little bit longer. All right, so I showed this before, but I just want to show it again for those of you who maybe didn't catch that video or just haven't seen this before. So what this is it's just a standard piece of 6-inch AFX track, and I've cut a hole in it. I've cut a hole directly between the two rails. Now the reason for that is, so now when I go to put my car on the track, okay, I'll be able to see if the shoes line up properly, and you can see they're tight. And we're looking right here. You can see there's no gap from the rail there. We'll have a look on the other side. All right, so it's the same thing. There's no gap from the rail. So ideally, these shoes are sitting exactly how you would like them. Right there, you can see there's no gap. That's exactly how you want them. You're getting maximum transfer of power. Perfect. All right, so we'll look at this extraction now. Once again, put it on the block. Slide it down the rail until it's over top of the hole. Let's have a look, see what it looks like. All right, so you can see here, this shoe right at the very back is not connecting properly. Let's have a look at the other side. All right, so it looks like the same thing on this side. We'll turn it over this way so you can have a better look. Oh, and this side is actually sitting flush. So this is how you want it to look right here, nice and tight. And here's what it looks like on the other side. Hang tight a sec. Okay. Here we are. You can see at the back, right there, it's not touching for like the first 2 millimeters. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna bend the shoe a little bit, and we're gonna see if we can get a better hookup for it. And of course we can. Okay, so you can see at the back, the shoe's not touching. We're just gonna make a quick little adjustment to it. All right, so it's down at the back a little bit here. So all I'm gonna do is just give it a bend, a little bend upwards. Not a lot though. You don't wanna bend the shoe too much. You only need a little bit, little tweaking. Little at a time, guys. All right, so let's have a look here. Okay, looks like we're still down a bit, no problem. Okay, I think that should do it. And there we go. All right, you can see on the front there, it's nice and flush. Right here along the rail, it's nice and flush. There's no gap. Perfect. You're getting good contact there. All right. So this isn't any hardcore piece of equipment. This is something that I feel every HO slot car person should have. Everybody can make one of these. I'm pretty sure everybody's got a piece of track. If even it's a curved piece of track, it'll still work. And like I said, all you do is you cut a hole from one rail to the other, right? You can see the rail right there on both sides. And that just allows you to roll the car over it and have a look at what we normally don't get to look at. Look at that, guys. Way better. Okay? So, remember, this is probably one of your easiest tools you could have in your toolkit, which will make a huge difference. good tall tale signs of whether your shoes are touching the track. Have a look at this. Nice even contact. See that on both sides? I don't know what that is there. It's obviously a mold mark, but you can see the track is running nice and evenly across the whole entire pad of the shoe. This shoe is definitely connecting properly. Let's have a look at the bottom of the extraction. Yeah, you can see there's problems for sure. Okay. We barely have a straight mark across the bottom with this little groove here, but this is the flat side. This is the side that was running good and didn't need fixing. And here we go. This is the side we did fix, and right off the hop, let's see if I can get this. You can see it's only catching the first little bit there, right there. Okay, you still have all of this right here that you're not even touching. And of course, always on Auto World cars, make sure these plates are squared up with the edge. Both of them. All right, that's another problem. And as well, if you find it's clicking really hard, you might just want to bend the end of the shoe over a little bit right at the end here, just so that you get more of a smooth transfer. If it's knocking really hard while you're driving around, yeah, just round off this edge right here a little bit more. It's on some of them, it's a fairly sharp, a sharp turn. A little too sharp, and it does create a little bit of clicking. All right, but that's another way to tell. You know, you can plainly see that this one's only connecting with half the shoe, and here it's connecting with the whole shoe. A little bit weak here, but at least you can see it's still grabbing. All right, and once again, we'll have a look at the AFX. Okay, so that's what it should look like. AFX also puts a pretty hard bend on the front of their shoes. If you guys want, just round that off a little bit as well, and you'll find you'll have a way quieter ride. I want to thank everybody for joining me today. Most importantly, I'd like to thank all my members. I'd also like to thank all my subscribers. I thank you guys immensely. Without you guys, I really don't have a channel, and I appreciate it. I want to thank you guys for your time. Hey, we don't have a lot of time in life, and that time you have and choose to spend with me, I thank you for that. Today we looked at different shoes on the bottom of different manufactured slot cars, HO scale of course, and then
Family firm. Oh, son of a...
We also had a look at the shoe checking device and go over how it was built, and ensure that you guys all have one for yourself. Hey, I didn't come up with the idea. I've just borrowed it, and now I'm passing it along. Guys, everybody needs to have one of these. This is the most simplest thing you could possibly have in your tool case. The only thing you need to do is make it. Or you can buy it for me for $30 each. Just kidding. No, seriously, if you want to pay $30, I'll send you one. I'll send you two if you want to pay $60. I think I've taken up enough of your time, and I do believe I've explained what can be done and what should be done in order to keep your shoes on the track and your car running tip-top. From all of us here at Slot Valley Racing, don't forget, get your heart racing.
What? Did we just become best friends? Yep. You want to go do
Slot cars in the garage?
Yep.